Hey, before we move on to the next video, I would just like to say thank you everybody so much for always checking out the videos. If you could, please do me a huge favor, smash that like button and subscribe if you'd like to hear more of my stupid jokes and hear more about smart money and how you can time the markets and look for exactly where to enter and exit, and things that you should be looking for. It should be more widely taught than retail, I believe. But you know, if you'd like to get my word out there, please, you know, help me cut through the YouTube algorithms. Just hit the like button, all that good stuff. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in a second. And wear your pants while you're watching it, okay? Alright, what's up guys? Ted here again with Bodies and Wicks. I wanted to do a little bit kind of different video, because I know I do a lot of technical mumbo jumbo, and I throw a lot of charts out there for people, and especially for people with crypto. Like, you're probably wondering, well, what do I do with this information? I just, you know, I do what, you know, what CoinBase tells me to do, which is, you know, the dollar cost average. I just put in, you know, a little bit, whatever I can, and do this. Well, I'm telling you guys, you can time the markets, and I'm trying to show you guys that you can time the markets. Now, there's ways to time these markets where you don't have to use Coinbase, right? One, you can use Robinhood, right? So let's take a look at this. With Robinhood, you can actually, whenever you go in to purchase something, there's this thing that says limit order or order type in the upper right hand corner. Yeah, instead of purchasing $5, you can hit order type, hit limit order, type in the price that you think it's going to go down to after you do your analysis, right? Bitcoin, I think it might go down to 33.5. You know, I'm just putting a number in there. I'm just throwing $5. Why not? If it gets down to 33, I'm throwing $5. You know, I'm just doing this for the sake of, you know, demo instructions, whatnot. There you go. So now if it drops down to 33.5, I'll actually be able to, you know, it'll actually put in that $5 for me or something like that. And then also, if I think it's going to drop below that, right, into a certain amount, like it might get to a bottom like 33.2, and it might start buying from there. It'll get to that point, and then it'll actually start buying from there, or, you know, it'll see, maybe one it'll sell, two it'll buy, and then you also have MT4, right? So this is MetaTrader 4. It's completely different, but basically the way this is it measures lot sizes, right? So I'm in Bitcoin again. Let's say I want to get down to this level here. I'm not for sure what this level is. I can't really read it because it's kind of small. I don't want to say it's like 33 something. I think that's why I put a line here. And so I think, you know, it might get down to this price. I can put a limit order in, right? That way when it gets down to this price, see, there it is, price, I can put the price I think it's going to get down to. And whenever it gets down to that price, it'll automatically trigger, right, and enter me into that trade. I put a stop loss, right? That way in case it ever gets below that amount, it'll automatically kick me out of the trade. That way I don't lose too much money. And then I put a take profit. That way, once it gets to a certain point, it automatically exits me from the trade, and that way I can just take the money that I earned from that trade, and then I'm done, right? So that's basically how MT4 works. Not only that, you have and you can cancel your order, of course, as soon as you're done with it. It also has, you know, the crosses, right? It has Ethereum, Bitcoin cross that you can trade. It has, what else it has in here? Litecoin, Bitcoin, has Neo, Zcash, Dash, Litecoin, sorry, it's Tron. You have, you know, all different types of here's, I think this is Monero here. um you know, you can basically trade any kind of crypto that you want. And basically how it works is if you have 10 cents per every 10 cents that you have in your account, and you trade it, like a 0.01 that I have there that I'm trading for this Ethereum. I'm actually setting this because I think this might happen. For every 10 cents that you put in, right, and every dollar that Ethereum makes, you make a dollar as well. So you can have an $80 account, right? Put in 10 cents. If it drops down to your price, it hits your price exactly and goes the exact opposite way and makes $300, you could make $300. Like, that's how simple it is. You don't have to put in the full $700 or $1,000 that Ethereum is in, and then wait for it to go up another $100, and then you make $100. That's not how MetaTrader 4 works, right? So then you got Coinbase, right? What can you actually do with Coinbase? You buy. I guess you can buy. There's no limit setting. I've noticed. There's no, you know, exiting your trade, and I'm trying to, you know, tell me to fund an account. I'm trying to figure out a way I can smartly invest, right? And the good thing about it is it does have a lot of good news. That's probably the good thing about this. Um, I'm actually transferring all my money out of Coinbase. That's why you don't see a whole lot in there. um, but I think the one thing it does show me is that is to invest weekly. Invest weekly, right? I can trade. I guess maybe one thing you could do is maybe trade for a coin. You know, in case it starts gaining value, you know, or starts losing value or something like that. Um, but even then, I think it still takes the percentage from you, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, not a huge fan of Coinbase at all. I'm really just I'm looking at it here and I'm going, what? Like what can I really do with you, to be honest? Like I don't really know. And I mean the to be honest, the one thing you can do that you can't do with Robinhood, I haven't found a wallet. That's the only thing. I haven't found a wallet with Robinhood. You do have a wallet with Coinbase. You also have a wallet with Cash App too. So, you know, maybe use one of them for your wallet. That, you know, that's maybe that I would suggest. You know, or I'm not too hip, you know, on the whole crypto scene. I know I can TA it all over the place, but you know, I don't know much about KuCoin either. You know, I don't know if KuCoin has those type of capabilities. I would hope it would, it being the one that everybody's kind of flocking to nowadays. But you know, whenever I'm showing you these things and I'm showing you know places that you can enter and exit these trades, I'm hoping that you're taking these notes down and understanding when and where to exit trades and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's hit up some charts, shall we? All right. So I'm gonna take out Litecoin because I think Litecoin is our next one that is probably gonna be heading off for Never Land. Bitcoin, I think, is even though it's at, I mean, you can see the price in the lower right hand corner. I mean, it's still inching up there. We're almost at 37,000 a day. Still at record highs. It's insane. I think the market is starting to get exhausted. It's starting to exhaust itself out. Excuse me. Had to drink my sponsor there. Thank you, Bull Red. Um, but instead, let's look elsewhere to where we can possibly get some good gains, right? So I'm looking at Litecoin here, and we had just surpassed the 2019 high, right? And I was looking at the 2018 levels, right? And we have, see these different lines I drew here? These are different lines of liquidity. And what do I mean by liquidity? If you haven't been watching my videos, these are, lines to where it's going to be drawn to, right? It's going to be drawn to these prices because there's highs here, right? This is where people are going to see this, and once we get closer to it, they're going to think it's going to turn around and go the other way. The people that use the apps like, MetaTrader 4, where you can put a sell limit on something, and when you put a sell limit on something and it sells and it goes the opposite direction, you actually make money on that sell, right? So that's one thing I probably didn't explain about MetaTrader 4, is that when you put a sell on something and it goes down, you're actually making money as it's selling. You don't have to own it to actually make money, right? So there's people that use these apps, and there's also people who have the institutional traders who have enough equity in Litecoin that can push it that direction. That way they can make money on the sell, right? So that's kind of how smart money works. They work in conjunction with each other, because like I said, every penny that you put in, for every 10 cents that you put in for a Litecoin sell, right, for every dollar that it makes, you make $1. If you put in 20 cents for every dollar that it makes or loses, if you sell, it would be $2. So if you put in $1, right, or $1 a trade, not 10 cents, but let's put in $1 a trade, right? Then every time Litecoin makes $1, you make $10, right? And then let's put in a full lot to where you'd make $10 a trade, right? That's for every dollar that Litecoin would make, you would make $100, right? So that's definitely where the money is made. That's why professional users use MetaTrader 4. That's why I use MetaTrader 4. It's because that's where you can make the most money. Is you're basically putting a bet on a trade and how high or how low it's going to go, and you're putting your own odds, to that trade. You're putting your own percent of risk to that trade. You're not just investing in it and then hoping it grows to a certain amount, and then it gets to 5%. You're going, oh cool, I grew $5 today, awesome. Instead, you're entering at a specific time. You're putting in, $1 per lot. It makes, Litecoin goes up $10, right? Something like that. You're at $1 per lot, which is $10, per every dollar. So it makes $10. You make $100, right? So that's where the money's made right there. So that's why I say when people sell, and the people that have the ability to sell, right? If they sell off a lot of their equity and they also put in a lot of their, they put in $20 per lot, or and then they sell off a bunch of their Litecoin equity, but they also put in $20 per lot, and it goes down $10. They may have lost a couple grand in Litecoin equity, but they probably made 20 grand in that sell that was going the opposite direction because they bet on it going down in MetaTrader 4, right? So that's the importance of knowing why people put sell limits at certain spots, right? So and that's why it's also important to know where these specific areas are, because that's where your retail traders, your people who don't understand how institutions trade, will look at these areas and go, oh, it's going to sell right there because there was a top there before. But instead it spikes right through it, and because anytime it goes into the red, right, you start losing money, right? And once you hit your stop loss, then that money that was in there that you started losing and you hit your stop loss, now that money is gone, and it goes to the broker, and then from the broker it goes to the person who was on the opposite side of the trade, right? So primarily the institutions, they're the ones who are going to be trading against you. So that's why you have to learn how to trade with them instead of retail trading against them. And that's why I try to incorporate whatever I teach, what I teach. And again, this is nothing new. A lot of people teach this. Some people incorporate it with the Wyckoff method. I get it from the inner circle trader. I have a little bit more of a different tactic than him as well. You know, everybody has their own style. So, like I said, but mainly everything I have learned from Inner Circle Trader. I just kind of put my own spin to it. That's about it. Now, as you can see, we are almost at the March to May 18th highs, right? It is sucking right toward those highs. But it's also gotten two equal highs as well. What do two equal highs mean? Liquidity. What it means, people are putting their stop losses or their sell limits right at those levels, right? And then there's also that level right above it too, to where you also have those equal highs. So this to me tells me it's going to drop to a certain level, right? So this is where we use our Fibonacci, and see, it happened here, right? Had those two equal highs, pulled back a little bit, actually pulled down pretty good ways, and then boom, turned around, went back up, and then went right through it because everybody was selling in this area. And then as soon as it started to sell, people started to chase the sell, and then the people with the money said, nope, boom, we're gonna buy. That they had their trades in MetaTrader 4 on the buys, and boom, they turned around and made the money while everybody else thought it was gonna sell, right? Because it hit these two tops, right? Oh, it hits two tops, it's gonna start going the opposite way. It found support. Nope, turned around, did the opposite. Well, now it's happening again, right? Now we got a top here. Looks like it's trying to form a top here. So what does it do? Generally something like this, what happens is you will, what I will do anyway, is I'll take a Fibonacci, right? And then again, here, I'm going to change the colors of these because I don't think you guys can see it very well, but 75, and then where's the other ones at? Oh, they're up here. Okay, we're going to take this one, put it here, 75, close enough, and this guy here, I'm going to put it here, and then 75. Okay, I want to do that really quick. In between where your 618 and your 79, that is generally your money pocket. And that's generally where you look for it to retrace to, because that is given at a discounted rate. Generally what happens in these areas is you will also find some kind of big down up move, those that I talk about, the displacement candles. You will generally find those in there. So let's get digging. All right, let's look in here. 15-minute, right? Maybe in a 15-minute, because remember, I don't know if you know, watched my Yearn video. This is exactly what happened to Yearn. It came up here and it kind of dwindled a little bit, and then it came down, and it came down right into that level I was talking about. And then as soon as it did, it shot right up, and then it right through where exactly where I thought I would. So now what we got to do is hunt for that area to where we think it's probably going to get down to as far as a discounted price. It's generally right at or around the 70.5 level. Now the thing is I ask myself, is there anything at the 70.5 level that I would see myself looking to hedge a bet on? Yes, kind of. A little bit higher, but still right here. Actually that would be probably a little bit higher. just because this is one solid candle. Right, if you see one solid candle go into another red solid candle, that typically acts as one candle. There's really not much of any wicks there. So then the start of this candle starts up here. Right, if it had wicked up a little bit and then came back down, then I would start from that wick. But look at that. That's right at the 618. So that is right at the start of the golden level of where to enter a trade. So I would think it would at least come down to that point, right? Now it did come up, and it did come back down and enter that level a little bit, but it didn't enter it too much. It didn't, so which means it didn't mitigate, right? So what do I mean by mitigate? I mean whenever see this green candle, right? So they put that buy in on that green candle, right? And so, but they have enough money to hold it. That way, whenever it comes back down, it doesn't, it doesn't affect them. And then what they do is at the same time, they also put in a short position right here. So they put in this short position, right? So they buy, right? And then they sell at the same time. So they buy, they push it up, and then they sell and hold it, so that way they don't get knocked out of the trade, right? That way when it comes up, right? When it comes up, now they're making money in the buy. They're still in they're still in the red in the sell. Sorry, I need to get rid of this here. That way I can pull this up a little bit higher. They're still in the red in the sell, but once it comes back down, right, and it reaches that point to where they started the sell in the first place, where they made it push down, they made everybody fake out and start selling with them, right? And so now if they're in the sell, they fake them out, and it starts going the opposite way, and it comes back above, right? And everybody probably has a short stop loss, whatever they got knocked out of the trade. But these people have a big enough pocketbook that they can push the money up and also hold it for a long time until it comes back down into the original trading area. And then once they do that, boom, they exit that trade. And when they exit that trade, they are now at zero loss, right? Because they were able to hold on to that while it came back down to that original part. And now what do? They hold on to the buy, right? They hold on to the buy until they know it gets into a certain point. And then that's when they exit the trade, because they know they're going to make X amount of money off of that trade. But first they know they have to, sell really quick, right? Or buy really quick to get people to buy, and then sell at the same time, right? That way when it sells, it pushes down really hard, so now people are faked out thinking it's going to sell. Everybody follows them with the sell, and then they turn around and buy again, right? And so now they have another buy actually set down here. You don't see it, but I'll just put it in there just for the heck of it. Long position. So now they have another buy position sitting down here. So now they have two entrances, and so they make even more money, right? And then while they just held that one sell until it came back down to this original point, right, where they, if I can zoom in on it a little bit closer and show you, right? So this candle here, boom, they bought, right, and then they sold. And then as they're holding this sell and it comes back down to this original sell right here, they exit the trade without any loss, right? That's what institutions do. And then after they exit the trade without any loss, boom, they'll buy again. And then now they have three positions in, and all they're doing is making the money and then taking the money out of your pocket because you chased them on the sell and you didn't know when to buy when they were going to buy. It's because they control the money supply, and you don't. It happens a lot in forex, and it's starting to happen a lot in the crypto world because there's starting to be a lot of institutions that have a lot of the equity in these markets. So now the question is, where is it going to come down to? I'm going to say, I mean, if you're one of those people that just likes to throw in money, you know, wait for the dip, put in money, sure, yeah, go ahead. It's honestly not a bad idea. It really isn't. I'm not knocking the people that do that, but the people that do want to try to find, you know, the perfect entrance, want to reserve, you know, 20% of their earnings or something like, or 20% of however much is in their account for, you know, a specific area. That way, whenever it falls down to that area, they know that they've entered into a better spot, you know, and that's what I look for, and that's what I try to help people find. So I would honestly think that this would probably come back down to about 153, even though we've reached up to about 173. I still think it has a really good possibility to come back down to 153 before it takes off again. If it doesn't, and if you really want to not chance it, you know, but you're still looking for an area for it to come back to, you can even get as low as the 5 minute. We'll see what we can find in the 5 minute. I would say right here. Looks like it's kind of hovered around that area. Looks like they were trying to exit trades a bunch as they were buying as well before it took off. Now it's come back down a little bit to it. Looks like it's came back down to this area here. So it looks like they could be playing with this. But since they're playing with it, it means they are probably going to push it up to about an equal high, I think. So I think they're probably going to eventually push it up to here and then push it back down and then make it go back up. It's just my personal thoughts. I've seen it happen before, and I think it's going to happen again. So I would think something like, you know, come back down to here, come back up, make people think, you know, or maybe do something like this to where they draw back down, make people think it's going to sell, right? And then push up just above it, right? To take those people out and then push it down again, make it look like it's actually going to fall quite a bit in amount, and then pull back up to here, and then do one of these, like that. That's what I would personally watch out for. Pull back down, mitigate, come back up, make an equal high, and that way it drops a little bit. That way everybody thinks it's going to sell, and then they'll push it just above it to make people think it's going to buy, and that way they'll start buying along with it, and then boom, they'll drop it, and they'll drop it down to an area to where hasn't been mitigated before, to where it's a discounted price. You know, everybody loves 50% off, but who doesn't love anything that's 62 to 80% off, right? So that's why these areas right here are the areas they look for to buy. Anywhere between that 62% and the 79%. You usually find most of your buys in that area before they take off and go the other way. So that's what I would be looking for, and watch for these areas. Right, I want to see if any of these areas. Okay, so at the current wave that we have of Litecoin, right? If we were to take this and triple it, basically take the length of this, and then do one more length, right? And then do one more length. That actually hits the next liquidity point. So that tells you that there's confluence there. So these things are not made by design. You know, these things aren't made by design. They're made specifically for things like this. They know. Well, actually, it's what, 2.27. Okay, close enough. That's one of those areas, you know, that you need to have your exit strategies at. So again, your extensions are, your 27%, your 62%, your 50%. So anywhere around in those areas, whether it be just right after, or 227% or 127%, or whatever it is, it's probably going to end up being in one of those areas. And that's why I'm seeing this next area, this next liquidity pool being right at 227. I'm seeing that as, hey, this is, this could be the next wave of the Litecoin push, right? So Litecoin could get up to 250 very, very soon. And I'm not just saying that just to say it. I'm saying that because it's looking like that. All right. So that being said, what I want to do is I want to look at Ethereum as well, because I have kind of a theory on Ethereum. Ethereum has made, okay, so it has this trend line, right? It has this trend line, right? And it came down and it busted through the trend line today. And I'm sure there was a lot of people probably trying to buy at this trend line. They may have had a short stop loss at it. They got knocked out of their trade, whatever. What I thought was going to happen, right, whenever I started looking at this before it came back up, because this is just after it had dropped down, I thought it was probably going to come back to this area here, which was around 1183, right? I thought it was going to come back up to around 1183, and then maybe get a little bit higher, oops, and then drop off, and then drop off. And then because I thought it was going to get down below, and I still think this is going to happen. I really do. I think it's still going to get below where this point dropped off to, right? Because this is where people are going to have their buy limit set, right? Like I showed you, like you can do in Robinhood, and like you can do in MetaTrader 4. You can put your buy limit set here, right? Right around 1121. But instead, it's probably going to go through that. Over here, you have an area of a bunch of equal lows, right? And it's right around this 27% extension, right? So it's just a little bit below this 27% extension, right around 1089. Now, usually what happens is it will generally get below that, right? Because everybody thinks that this is a safe spot to start buying again because all those lows are there. So they think this is a support level. Instead, there's liquidity underneath that. So they'll put their buys here, right, above here, and they'll put their stop loss just below here, and then it goes through that. So I'm thinking it's going to get to this next order block just below those equal lows, which is going to be, see this little red candle here? This little red candle here? Draw a little ellipse here. Probably not the best drawing, but that little red candle there, that's that last push down, right, to where they sell. They throw it, they just take a big pile of money on the table, and they just go and throw it on the ground really quick, right? And then somebody wants to pick it up, and they reach down to pick it up, and they pick it up and they throw it everywhere. And that's what happens with this, right? They go boom, boom, and then everybody starts buying. They go, oh, it's cheap enough, everybody buy. Buy, 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 buy. So that's exactly what happens. So it hasn't came back down to that area yet, right? So, but it has hit this, equal level of liquidity a bunch of times. So that's why I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, everybody's looking at this, trend line, thinking it's going to stay above this trend line. If it does get past this trend line, everybody's looking at this point right here, this low point, thinking it's going to buy right here. Okay, if it does get past that low point, it's going to start buying right here. That's 1, 2, 3 fake outs. It's going to get farther below than that. It's going to get to this last point of mitigation and start buying right there. And that's why I have my buy limit set right there. It's at 1073.05 and on my trading view, and that would be the price on Coinbase. Depending on what you're using, you probably have to measure it out yourself. I think on my Administrator Pour, I put 1075 just in case. With the spread, I probably need to make it a little bit bigger because I think there's about a $3 or $4 spread on Ethereum right now. It used to be 80 cents. It used to be 80 cents spread on Ethereum back when it was a couple $100. Now, anytime you enter into an Ethereum trade, you're $3 behind. But that's part of trading, you know. It is what it is. Or if you want to, you know, you want to set it up in Robinhood and got a couple $100 that you want to throw in, you think this is the right time, wait till it gets down to here, and then now you saved yourself let me see here. Now you save yourself 12%. You've gained 12%, you know, instead of putting in your $200 right now, or, you know, wherever it is. You put it in whenever it gets down this low. Once it gets back up here, you've actually earned 12% more than if you would have just, you know, dollar cost averaged or whatever it is that Coinbase wants you to do, you know. This is why it's important to know where to enter these trades at the right time. And this is why, especially in crypto, everybody's really getting into crypto, and the smart money is starting to take over. And I've been calling some trades, and man, I wish I would have stuck with Ethereum when I called it back when it was at 713. Is anybody if you watch that video, I call it right here. Or it was just a little bit above it. It was right around here. No, it was right here. I think it was this line right here. I don't know. It was I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, it was right here. Because I was talking about the liquidity. I was waiting for it to break liquidity. Right? So it pulls up, it comes back down. Everybody's buying right here, not me. I waited. And as soon as it broke liquidity, I bought right then because I knew it was going to come up because there was an order block right over here. So it drops below that, and then I bought, and it was, yeah, ended up being 717 with the spread. So, but it was actually about 715. So with the spread, it was 717. I can probably pull up the, I don't know if I feel like looking for it right now, but maybe I do have an image of it somewhere. Maybe not, I don't know. Oops, I think it just moved something. There was a time I did get in a little bit later. Let me see here. Let me see if I can pull that up. There it is. I got in a little, yeah, it was around 7:30, 7:40, so it looks like I got in, oh yeah, it was a little bit after. It was somewhere when it was bouncing around over here. I got in again, And instead of holding it like a dummy that I was, well, these were momentum lots, is what they were. Uh, I did hold for a little bit longer. I ended up getting out a little bit higher, uh, but I think I got out just above like these highs here, just because I saw this liquidity. I got out just right around like 760. So that's what I was holding for. I was calling for it to get above 757. I did get out above 757. Um, but unfortunately, it wasn't. I didn't hold long enough. I could have held on to that and made all of that. So I'll be a little need to be a little bit more wiser next time when I understand that Ethereum is in a bull market, in the type of bull market that it's in. But I don't think there is a I think the altcoin season is here. I think the altcoins have spent their time in the low levels that they have been. I think they've proved themselves, and they're going to be going up and up and up. So that's why I like Litecoin. I like Ethereum. If we, you know what, even though I haven't found a way to buy Monero, guess what? You can still trade Monero. So I think Monero you can get on KuCoin. So, but it did have the order block mitigation that it came up with this order block area, right? Came up, dropped from there. All right, so that's that last down up push. Do you see that? So if you have MetaTrader 4 and you got a broker that has Monero like I do, you can trade this, right? So here's that down up push. And then whenever it comes back to that level, it's gonna sell, right? Because they've been holding that buy for so long that once it gets to that area, they can let go of that buy and they can sell and make the money from it at that point. And so they do, and then it comes back up, and now not for sure what's going to happen with Monero next, to be honest, because now we can look at, let's see when the last down up push it was from up here. That's the thing about Monero, it kind of jumps around even in a 5-minute basis. But I do see liquidity levels. Okay, it broke those. We have a liquidity level here. So I just think there's going to be a liquidity draw above these. So I think Monero is eventually going to get above 146. But I don't have a good area as to where it would actually. I mean, I think this was probably the last area to buy was 139. Right, so if you're gonna get in now, because it's probably gonna go up to at least 146. Last one I'll take a look at is Bitcoin, just because I want to see what's going on with it today. So Bitcoin always does this, it has this big rally, boom, makes a stop, comes back down, and then consolidates for a little bit. And that's why I like to take a look at it to see what's going to happen. And as you can see, if we were to, draw the little figure here from top to bottom, and then see where it's going to retrace. Where did it retrace to? 70.5. So it came up, right? It made its presence known here at about 35,000, right? Dropped down, right? Started making its rally back again, and then sold off so quick, and it probably made everybody sell with it. And then the smart people were like, discount. As soon as it hits at 70.5, that's when they know when that discounted price comes in. Boom, they put all their money into it there, and just rode the wave up. Why? Because if you buy pants at 70.5% off, you're buying them at pretty much nothing, right? So instead of, they're buying it on this wave, right? Pushing it up, And now what do? You sell a bunch of it off and then buy it again at a discounted price. So that's, you know, it's kind of like if you, or you can kind of get a sense of this, you know, and you can understand how this works, and you see it coming, and you have something like Robinhood and it gets above here and you think something like this is going to happen, you can put a sell limit, or you can put a stop loss, right? If you own this at, you know, 33.55558, and then it'll sell it once it drops below that, and then you can buy it again. You can, you know, buy all of it at 34.535, and that way again you just saved yourself, well, if it would work for me, you know, 4%. Instead of holding on to it, waiting for it to drop, and then buying a bunch more, instead you sold a bunch, right? And all that money that you made while it dropped, right? You weren't holding on to it, and then you bought again, right? Right through at that level, boom, you just saved yourself 3% of what you didn't have. So that's why timing of this stuff is so important, and why you can time it and how you can time it. And I'm telling you, this 70 point, this just pull back to 70.5%, this pull back to 62%, this pull back to 80% works almost every time, right? Especially in a bull market like this. Just wait, and it's going to continue to keep happening. And I'm just waiting to see. So right now, right, it's probably, especially looking at this little wave that we've got right here, it's probably at about 70.5% or something of the top. Right, so if we take a fib, we draw it from top to bottom, about 80, right? So I would expect it to start retracing right now. Why? Because it's at, you know, right now we're not at a discount. You know, people are buying at a very high price. 80% is not a discount. So now we're waiting for it to pull back down to a discounted price, or, you know, they could be pushing it up to, like they did last time, till it gets up to here, and then making it drop again till it gets to 70.5. And I'm gonna guess, just by looking at this and seeing this last down push, that's probably going to be about 70.5%. So let's flip this the other way. Right on the money. The last down push before it goes back up, almost right at 70.5%. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gets up here, right, and it starts selling off, and everybody thinks it's going to sell off completely, and as soon as it gets right here to this 36.794 level, boom, it takes off again. So anyways, that is my video on crypto and your different trading styles, and how you can, your different apps, and how you can use them to trade crypto. What I like to use MetaTrader 4, just because there's a lot more bang for your buck in that. With Bitcoin, it's a little bit different. It's not like with every dollar you make a dollar. It's more like with every $10, I think you make a dollar or something like that. It's a little bit different, but there's also about a $6 to $7 spread on it right now. So as soon as you make a trade, and that's only if you put in a 0.01. So if you're only trading 10 cents per lot, right? And then for every $10, you know, you make a dollar, something like that. With it being, you know, almost $40,000, it fluctuates so quickly. You know, you can make a couple bucks in a couple minutes. You know, it doesn't matter anyway if you know. So, so if you're throwing a 10-cent lot in, you're down $6. If you throw you know, a 2 cent, a 20 cent lot in, which is a 0.02, you'd be down $12, but then again, it moves. You make twice as much. So instead of making, if it gets up, $30, instead of you making $3, you'd make $6, something like that. So, but then again, that's why timing is everything whenever you have something like MetaTrader 4, because it's going, it is everything, and that's why the professionals use it. And I'm not sure if the crypto market understands that this is out there for them, right? Everybody's used to Coinbase and KuCoin and eToro and other kind of different exchanges that are out there. There's all kinds of exchanges that are out there. Even the Uniswap and things like that. But I don't know if you realize that there's MetaTrader 4 out there for crypto, which is crucial, right? Especially if you want to, if you know crypto and you know it like the back of your hand, and you know what price is going to get down to, maybe you don't even have to use this type of stuff. Maybe you just know crypto that well. MetaTrader 4 is for you. Get it. If you need broker information, it's going to be all in my description. Hugo's Way is the one I use. I can really not supposed to tell you which one to use. I can let you know which one I use. I'm not going to prefer you which one to use. That would be I cannot do that. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm giving you my opinion and letting you know information about my own personal life. So none of this is financial advice. Just giving you personal information and what you can do on your own accord. Do your own research. There's another thing out there I think called Xcoin, to where you can trade like that on MetaTrader 4. I'm started to look into it. I haven't gotten completely there yet, but I do want to sign up with Xcoin. Yeah, there are quite a few different ways you can trade out there. Anyways, that's enough for me rambling. I am done. I want to be done. I'm sure you want me to be done. I'm a gibbering jabbering fool. But one thing, if you guys can, please do something for me. That would be amazing. I would love you forever for it. And that would be to please smash that like button, subscribe if you like my content. It would be great. Thank you so much again for everything that you do and for watching all my content and for all my dumb jokes. And I hope that everything that hopefully what I'm doing is good information for you guys. That's all I'm saying. And if it is, please give me a thumbs up, share my video, all that good stuff. Okay. Sorry I make my videos so long, but I try to do it because I want to give a lot of information. If it's boring, I get it. I try to make it as best as I can, though. All right, I'm trying to do my best. All right, I'm shutting up now. That's it. I'm done. Wear your pants. Okay, bye.
Any advice or information on this website is general advice only. It does not take into account your personal circumstances. Please do not trade or invest based solely on this information. By viewing any material or using the information within this site, you agree that it is general education material and you will not hold any person or entity responsible for loss or damages resulting from the content or general advice provided here by bodies and wicks, its employees, directors, or fellow members. Futures, options, and spot currency trading have large potential rewards, but also large potential risk. You must be aware of the risk and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the futures and options markets, as well as Forex. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. This website is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy, sell, trade futures, spot Forex, CFDs, options, or other financial products. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed in any material on this website. The past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results.